Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to look at an overview of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, some of the similarities and differences between them. As we've discussed before, the cell is the basic unit of life. Everything that is alive is at least one cell, and those cells fall into one of two broad classifications: prokaryotic, which have no nucleus or other membrane-bound organelles, and eukaryotic, which do have internal membrane-bound structures. There are some structures within cells that are common to all types of cells. This is the plasma membrane, which separates the cell from its surroundings, the cytosol, the semi-fluid substance in the middle of the cell, the ribosomes, and one or more chromosomes. Now, this is an example of a typical prokaryote. It's always worth bearing in mind when you see these images that this isn't an actual cell. It's an idealized image of one, and so some of the structures may not always be present in every cell type. These are considered the major components of prokaryotic cells, and as you can see, prokaryotes are generally fairly simple cells. Starting at the top of the image here, we have pili, which aid in communication between bacterial cells, ribosomes, which are responsible for protein synthesis, DNA packed into the nucleoid region to store genetic information. Please remember that even though prokaryotes don't have a nucleus to package their DNA, they still have DNA to provide all of their necessary instructions. Next, we have a flagellum, which isn't present on all bacterial cells and functions as a tail to help the cells move around. A cell wall external to the plasma membrane, which provides structural support and protection, and a plasma membrane to separate the cell from its surroundings and control the passage of materials into and out of the cell. Here, we can see a comparison between a typical eukaryote and a typical prokaryote. Before we discuss some of the major differences, I'd like you to pause the video and quickly note down 2 or 3 differences that you can observe between the cells. The first major difference that we can observe between the two is the size, with eukaryotic cells typically being around 10 times larger than prokaryotes, giving them a volume up to 10,000 times that of a prokaryote. You'll also note that the eukaryote is typically more complex with many different internal structures, each separated from the rest by a layer of membrane. In the other videos in this section, we'll zoom into some of these structures and get a better look at what they do to help the cell function. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to check out the other videos in this section where we'll look at some of the different structures within cells and what they do to help the cell survive.